Hi, I'm Laura, and thanks for joining me on Craft Yoga and Design. Today is a slow flow for these warmer days that we are headed into. Sometimes we all need a minute just to slow down, whether we're heating up internally or things are firing up around us externally. We're going to slow down today on our mats. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of props. You can certainly do this whole sequence without props, but if you'd like to feel more supported in your flow today, go ahead and grab a bolster if you have one, or a nice pillow, or a couple of yoga blocks. And we'll begin in a wide-legged child's pose. Today's variation, I'm going to grab my bolster so I can start out in a supported and comfortable manner. My big toes are together and my knees are almost as wide as the mat. I'll draw my bolster in and then just start to lay the torso down onto the bolster. You can have the hands folded and just lay the head on the hands, or if you would like, you can extend the arms out long and just bring the side of the face to the bolster. And we'll just start here in this nice soft pose. Taking a moment just to stop before we begin our class. As we take these first couple of minutes to slow down and to reconnect with ourselves, we'll slowly start to become more in tune with our breath and with our physical body. Hips are sinking back towards the heels. The chest and the upper body fully releases down into the bolster or the mat. Start to recognize the path that your breath takes into your body. Inhale, creating space, feeling open. Exhale, deepening, feeling yourself become more grounded with the earth. Maybe notice the quality of your breath today. And through the course of class, your breath quality will change. The amazing part of the breath is that it's flexible and it will change with our emotions, our moods, our activities. Allow the breath to move freely in today's class. Slowly start to move the bolster or pillow if you had one and just set it out of the way. We're going to keep the legs in that wide-legged child's pose position. But from here, we're going to take a revolved child's pose. We're going to thread that right arm underneath the left for an upper body twist, and then the right side of the face just comes to rest onto the mat. The left arm can extend out long if that feels comfortable for you. I know quite a few people do like that. You can bring the hand in a little bit closer to feel a little more supported, or I like to take a bind and wrap the left arm, draw the hand just to the inside of that right thigh, and feel that left arm just kind of held out of the way, and then opening up into the chest and into the left shoulder, getting a little bit of extra stretch there. From here, we'll stay in this twist. Maybe noticing the hips back sink back a little more closely to the heels as the lower back starts to
loosen up, and the hips start to unwind. I love a good slow practice added into my weekly routine, whether it's before bed, even just once a week. It's a healthy reminder to tell yourself that you are able to slow down. I know some of us find it very hard to stop, depending on our personalities. Some of us are very, very active and very energized. And some of us are more earthly and more grounded in our lives and have an opposite way, and some have a hard time to get moving. Still, finding that time to move slowly is so beneficial for your body, your joints, your health, your breath. If you had the bind, let's release that left arm. Use it to just bring yourself through center, back through a child's pose. And from here, we're going to just snake that left arm underneath the right, twisting with the upper body, and now resting the left side of the face onto the mat. Play around with your arm positioning. You may like one side a little different than the other side, and I feel that's perfectly fine. If you find a variation that feels a little better on one side versus the other, go ahead and take that variation. We are built differently from side to side. Our goal is to try to find balance and hopefully attain the same shape on either side. But some days that just does not work for us, and it can always be different from day to day. Once you move into your revolved child's pose, return back to the breath. Inhale through the nose, relaxing the muscles into the face. Exhale, soften throughout the body. Feel the back relax even further. Probably starting to feel a nice stretch into the inner thighs. Holding this wide-legged child's pose. Even getting a stretch across the top of the feet. Let's release that right arm if you had the bind. We're going to go ahead and bring that out to the side, push ourselves up just for a moment, come back into our wide-legged child's pose, unsupported. Allow the forehead to come to the mat. Take an inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Once more, inhale. Exhale through the mouth. Pushing up onto all fours just for a moment to transition and bring the heels out to the side. We're going to come onto our backs and take a reclined butterfly pose. If you like to have blocks supporting either knee in your reclined butterfly, you can go ahead and bring them with you so you have them near you when you start your shape. From here, lowering down, we'll bring the heels and the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to drop out to the side. The arms, depending on how you feel, we can take a diamond shape with the thumb and the index fingers. Place that diamond shape just above the pubic bone, creating a nice space around the navel. If you'd like to have the arms down here, you can also take a great big diamond shape and bring the arms up and overhead, kind of imitating the shape that you have with the legs. If the hands are on the belly, this provides a very wonderful connection to sense the breath in and out. Maybe you notice the breath is sent more to the belly by having just the placement of the hands there. arms overhead. Maybe you notice a full body breath, expansion from belly all the way to the chest as they rise up, and also expand outward on the sides and even into the back body. When you're ready, we're going to use the arms to bring the knees together, allowing our movements to be gentle and kind to ourselves, reminding ourselves it's important to move slow. And from here, let's just roll onto our sides. And we're going to come up into the center of our mat, and we're going to prepare for our head to knee posture. For here, we'll extend the left leg out long, and then bring the right sole of the foot not quite to the inside of that left thigh. We're going to have an open hip, so there's going to be a space between the right foot and the left inner thigh, maybe about 4 to 6 inches depending on your body. Now, by all means, if it does feel better to have that connection and more of a closed hip in this shape, I'm always available to having whatever modifications you need, or if it feels right to you in the moment today. So you can change the position of your right foot as needed. Staying up nice and tall. In this posture, we're going to begin by taking a twist, and the left hand will come to the outside of the right knee, twisting with the upper body. I'm leading with my chest and also with the right shoulder, drawing the right shoulder back behind me and using the left hand as a little bit of leverage. So I'm taking the force of the gaze out of it and really focusing on using the upper body to twist. If you feel like you can lead into the gaze and turn the neck slightly, by all means do so, but don't try to use the gaze to force the twist. Let's inhale, come back to center. From here, we're going to take our revolved head to knee pose. So let's go ahead and grab a block. So helpful because this is a really big stretch, both on the lateral side ribs and also into the hamstring. And waking up that hamstring right away can be pretty intense. So your block, you can use any height, whether it's the highest, the middle, or the lowest. And from here, we're going to just allow the left forearm to come onto the block and then start to lean over towards the left with the torso. From here, I like to keep my right hand just on the inside of that right inner thigh, and then allow the right shoulder to stay open. To lower even further, you can come onto the left elbow and just take the head into the left hand as we would for our yin yoga practice. This practice is very similar to a yin practice, not holding the poses quite as long as we would in yin, but just getting a nice wake up into the side body. And of course, we're staying down on our mat for this entire practice to help ourselves feel anchored in, to allow ourselves to move slowly. A couple more breaths here, if you can lower the block, or if you are that movable in the morning or whenever you're practicing this. Maybe you can come all the way down to the mat. Keeping the right hip and tailbone grounded, connected to the mat. And on an inhale, let's come back upright. Setting the block just to the side for a moment, keeping the legs in the same position, we're going to fold forward from the hips. You don't have to come very far. If this is right where you want to stay, you can stay right here. You can also lower the forearms down onto blocks or onto the floor in front of you. Allow the head, neck, and shoulders to relax and hang heavy. And the back can curve and round into this forward fold. Maybe as you inhale, you feel the upper body just rise, even slightly, and on the exhale, maybe the head dips a little lower. Maybe the arms even walk out a little further. Let's go ahead and inhale ourselves back to an upright position. Such a juicy stretch, and as you start to release more into it, it feels like you could stay in there a little bit longer. From this spot, we're going to take a butterfly pose once more, this time an upright butterfly pose. So bring the soles of the feet together and the knees can come out wide. You can adjust how close you want the soles of the feet towards your groin, depending on how much of a stretch you want into the inside of the hips and the groin to get started. As we begin, we could stay upright. If you'd like to start to walk the hands forward and fold into your butterfly, you can take that shape. Sometimes I like to interlace the fingers and bring them just to the bottom of my feet, the outside edges. And from here, bending into the elbows, maybe drawing the head down into that little opening of the feet, this little book that you've made with the soles of your feet. Stay here for about 3 to 5 breaths. Find smoothness across the back of the neck. And continue to feel both the front and the back body expand as you inhale. And release the lungs folding like wings as you exhale. On an inhale, we'll find ourselves coming back to an upright shape. Extend the right leg out long. Again, for this head to knee shape, draw the left foot in. Start by maybe connecting it first to the inside of that right inner thigh, and then open up the left foot so you have an open hip on the left side. Making the adjustments that you need. We'll start upright here and then begin by taking a twist over towards the left. So draw the right hand to the outside of the left knee. Staying upright, leading with the chest, twisting over towards the left. Noticing any differences here. My left knee definitely wants to pick up further in this shape. Remember, your knees do not have to stay settled down onto the earth. It can be quite natural for them to lift up. And then exhale, return back to center. From here, we'll grab a block, maybe even 2. Bring it to the inside of that right knee. Play with whatever height you feel like you would like to try on this side. Adjust as you move into the shape. Start by bringing the right forearm to rest on top of that block. The left hand can come to the inside of that left thigh. And from here, we'll revolve our chest for our revolved head to knee. Leaning over towards the right, staying open in the chest, creating length into the left side. A lot going on here, stretching into that right hamstring. Let's inhale, come back to an upright shape. Keeping the legs where they're at. You can either have the blocks in front of you for your forearms to rest on, or remove the blocks and start to walk your upper body forward. And then maybe bring the forearms down towards the earth. Holding in our forward folds. Allow the breath to move freely through the body. There's no need to control the breath. Think of this as your check-in with yourself and with your breath. Maybe you find that you naturally like to breathe in certain spaces more than others. Perhaps you're seeking out those areas that need more relaxation. To remove that tension by using the breath and send that breath into those areas. Let's inhale, bring ourselves back to an upright position by using the hands and the upper body strength to bring ourselves upright. From here, you can shift back onto the hips, draw the feet in towards center. Take a couple of windshield wipers if you'd like to take a moment to release the hips. Wonderful hip openings just to brighten your day. And when you're ready, we're going to move on to our backs. So from here, before we come all the way down onto our backs, we're going to prepare by having some props where we might need them for the next pose. So I'm going to move my bolster so it's towards the back of my mat, the very, very back edge. You could also use blocks, but we're going to move into plow pose after this position, and I like to have my bolster back there to have a bigger aiming point for when I bring my feet back in plow. So you may need to make some adjustments, but for now we're just going to roll down onto our backs. And from here, we'll go ahead and take the knees up into tabletop. Arms alongside the body at a very low V shape with the palms facing down. And then extend the legs up towards the ceiling. So you have this legs up the wall posture. You can do this without a wall at any time. It still feels very calming. But of course, it is more work into the legs to not be supported by the wall. If you are near a wall for your practice today, by all means, let's go ahead and move right next to it and have the legs up against the wall. It's a beautiful shape to have. We'll hold here for a moment. And whether you're in the middle of the room or you've made your way towards the wall, We're going to start to make some movement and activate into the legs here with this posture. And we're going to point and flex the feet. So just point and flex. You can do this right at the wall as well. When you flex, think of pushing the heels up towards the ceiling, flattening out the feet like you're really pushing both of the feet into the ceiling. And then let's point, stretch into the top of the feet and the ankles, flex, and point. We're going to do this for about 10 rounds. Waking up the legs and really feeling into those feet. I can actually feel my core working as well, especially if you're unassisted, and moving into the quads. So still activating into the body without creating too much heat, because we do want to cool down in this practice. But truly a little bit of movement is part of that yin and yang that we have in our life. There's always going to be some heat activated in the body, some cool down to keep ourselves balanced. Wonderful. You can take your legs, you can move away from the wall, and then take your legs to tabletop. We'll take a moment here, especially if you are moving yourself away from the wall. Give you a moment to come into tabletop position. And if you haven't already, place a bolster or a pillow behind you. We're going to take a variation on our plow pose. So we're going to press the hands into the mat and then start to shift the hips up, bring the feet back. And you might need to adjust your bolster. I can feel I need to move mine a little further away. This is giving ourselves a landing point that's a little higher than our mat. So it'll support the legs and the lower body. Hands can come to support the low back and to stay lifted in our plow pose. In your plow pose, you can keep the legs straight. I'm keeping the feet flexed. This feels really good into the back of my calves, also stretching into the bottoms of the feet. You can point the feet, play with both shapes. Wherever you're at, think about maintaining that space between the throat and the chin. So I'm not just crushing my chin into my sternum. Obviously, I can still talk rather freely here. Feeling a stretch into the back of the neck, into the shoulders. We'll slowly start to release from our plow pose. You can come out with a straight leg, or you can bend the knees to come out as well. Allow the hands just to slide up to the back of the thighs. And then as you start to lower the tailbone onto the earth, you can bend into the legs. Bringing both of the feet to the mat, soles of the feet touch down. From here, we're going to come into our cow face legs in a reclined position. So take the right foot, cross it over the left, and you're crossing your legs, and then draw both of the knees up and in. You can take the hands and cross them to the back of that left thigh to draw the knees down and in towards your chest. You can stay right here. You can make it a little more challenging by taking the hands to the top of the shins and still drawing the knees and the lower body in towards heart center, but at the same time pressing down towards the mat. And then the most challenging, especially if you have shorter arms, can be to take the outside edges of the feet and then draw the feet again towards the upper body, but at the same time down towards the mat. If you just have the feet or the shins reaching down towards the mat, you're going to have a different angle. You're going to feel the tailbone press down into the mat more. Not as much of a stretch into the hip flexors, but if you keep the feet more parallel to the earth, drawing them in towards heart center, but at the same time having a downward pressure, feeling the arms and the shoulders stay heavy. You should have a very big stretch on the outside, especially of that right hip flexor, since that is in the most intense position at this time. And then exhale, we'll release. Keep the legs crossed and we'll come into a reclined twist. So from here, we're going to allow both of the knees to fall over towards the left side. Now I naturally come into an eagle leg twist. So I have a double wrap with my right leg crossed and then my right foot crossed behind the left ankle. You can just have one cross if that feels good for you. If both of them makes this too intense of a twist, just stack the right knee on top of the left. From here, my left hand stays on the outside of that right thigh, and I'm going to have my right arm in a cactus shape. You can also open out to a T. Continue to breathe in these twists, especially in these very deep twists. It can be so easy to hold on because we feel like we're more restricted, but don't think of it that way. Imagine yourself opening up into the upper body, creating more space into the chest and the shoulder, creating this beautiful compression into the abdomen. And lengthening to the outside of that right leg. Slowly start to unravel your twist. You can come back onto the back, unwind the legs, and return into a neutral posture. So check the spine so that we are just once more in alignment from the head to the tailbone. When you're ready, we're going to take those eagle legs or the cow face legs onto the opposite side. So we'll cross the left knee onto the top of the right and then start to shift the hips back. Pull in the knees. Maybe begin by having the hands interlaced behind that right thigh. Drawing the knees in towards heart center, giving yourself a great big hug. If you'd like to deepen further, maybe grab onto the shins and start to draw the knees down and in. If you can access the outside edges of the feet, maybe you deepen a little further. Try to coax those hips to open up and release. And once more, we'll release the feet. Bring both of the feet down to the mat. Keep the legs crossed, and we'll come into that reclined twist. So dropping both of the knees, I'm going to fall away from you towards the right. Maybe taking the eagle legs on this side as well. If you can cross the left ankle behind or the right. Very intense posture. Again, just one twist or no twists. This is your space and your mat, and I am just your guide to offer you shapes and positions that can feel right for you today. Keeping the left shoulder heavy, maybe making a connection with the mat. Let's inhale, return back to center. Unravel the legs. Place the spine back into alignment from the head to the tailbone. And from here, we're going to move into our half happy baby. Starting on the left side, we'll draw that left foot in. Maybe take a hold of the outside edge of the left foot with the left hand and draw the knee down and into that left armpit. The right knee can certainly stay bent. If you feel like it's available, you'll extend the right leg out long. Maybe anchor the right hip with the right hand to feel that connection of the right side body into the earth as well. Maybe on the next inhale, you extend the left leg out long. Really stretch into that left hamstring for one final breath. Inhale. And then exhale, softly bend into that left knee. Allow the left foot to come down onto the mat. We'll bring the right foot in. Bring the right knee down. And then reach for the outer edge of the right foot for a half happy baby on the right side. You can keep the left leg bent. Start to feel that right shoulder sink down in towards the earth as you draw the right knee in. And maybe as you get more comfortable, you extend that left leg out long. Left hand anchors the left hip down towards the earth so you feel connected all the way through the spine. On the next inhale, maybe you try to straighten that right leg. Breathe into the right hamstring for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's bend again into that right knee. You can allow the right foot to come down to the earth. Draw both of the soles of the feet to the mat, and we'll end our practice with a happy baby on both sides. So we'll start to draw the knees in. Take a hold of the outside edges of the feet, or even grabbing the back of the thighs or the shins for your happy baby. Sometimes the full version of happy baby can feel a little easier than half happy baby, especially if you're trying to take that extended leg shape in your half happy baby. And as you hold here and we close out our practice, maybe you feel yourself rock just slightly from one side to the other. Maybe you feel that you fully slowed down for the day and you find your space and your happy place in stillness. You can release the feet, maybe draw the knees together and give yourself a full hug with the knees to the chest, wrapping the arms across the front of the shins, drawing the head, neck, and the shoulder up. And then release the soles of the feet down to the mat. You can come into Shavasana, extending the legs out long to close out our practice and absorb the immense benefits that we have made for ourselves by slowing down today. Taking 1 minute just to breathe in the happy space we've created in our minds and in our physical selves. Maybe finding the corners of the mouth lifting up slightly. Feeling ourselves uplifted by taking time for ourselves. Knowing that change starts within. If you feel completely absorbed and you want to hang out in this space of stillness in your Shavasana, stay here for several more minutes. Maybe hit pause on your video. When you are ready, you can roll over onto your side and come back to that space, that grounded center, into the middle of your mat, crossing your legs. Inhale the arms up to the sky, and then draw the palms down through heart center to close your practice. As always, thank you for coming to take time on your mat to slow down with me in your practice. Hit that subscribe button so you get notifications every week for a new practice. You will find a lot more of these slow flows here on this channel, in my beginner channel or my beginner playlist, and also my yin yoga and my yin to vinyasa playlist as well. Every Sunday there are new practices, so feel free to subscribe and hang out here on my channel. As always, I hope you have a great day. Make it a good one. Bye.